So in Kashmir Shaivism, they talk about a concept called spanda. Who has heard of spanda? Very enlightened folks here. Now spanda means the pulsing, vibrating universe. You know, the girls were dancing. You felt that pulse, the throb of the universe trying to come into the world, nature throbbing, alive, right? We call that the dance of Shiva and Shakti. That means consciousness is trying to come into the world by dancing with Shakti. Purush and Prakriti are dancing, right? All of you have seen the art of Shiva making love to Shakti, no? You've all seen it. Whether you go to Khajuraho, whether you see it in paintings, or whatever you see it in, right? This idea. That means Spanda is saying that consciousness and body are perpetually making love all the time, but you're disconnected from it. So today we use a modern term, flow. Can I flow, right? So, but what if you could flow like a tantric? Then you'd be flowing with the dance of Shiva and Shakti to flow. What if every moment in your life was that dance? Would that be amazing? No? So we think, if I do it for half an hour in the morning, then I'll get 2 hours of flow. And then I'm screwed. Acha, by the way, I use F words a lot, so don't mind me, okay? It'll start just now. Forgive me. But this is the idea, is that why can't I effing do it 24/7? Why can't I do it at my job? Why can't I do it with my family? Why can't I do it whenever I'm traveling in the metro and I want to kill somebody? Why can't I do it? Right? Why can't I have that flow? No? We're always asking this difficult question, right? So Tantra says, you can. I arranged that. That moment was brought to you by Habitat Center. So this is a great image, isn't it? Isn't that how you want to feel all day? You know, it'd be difficult to work if you were doing that pose all day. But actually what we're saying is making love to yourself inside. Is that, yes? It's not sexual. It's internal sexual. Turning this into that. How? Right? So, can I tell you a story? Yeah, sure. This is from the Shiva Puranas. And so man, Brahma and Saraswati created the worlds, and Brahma created man. Daksha Prajapati was his first born. So all of you have heard of Daksha, right? Now Daksha was an arrogant man. And what the gods gave him was the power of Vak, mantra, right? So they became very powerful. They built civilizations. In fact, many believe the whole of Indus Valley was them. You know, huge civilization, right? And they built a huge civilization, but like us, they started to lose touch with nature. They started to lose touch with the cycles of moon and sun and earth. We have lost it, right? Brahma realizes that this is a problem and goes to Sati, Adi Shakti, and says, please come to earth so that they can celebrate consciousness and nature, right? And not forget in their power struggle to do yagyas and homas and all the things that they're doing, right? And so she seduces Shiva to come down to earth in a body form, right? He becomes not Rudra at that time. He's not the ash-smitten one. He's quite beautiful. He's not even Kameshwari. It's just a beautiful form of Shiva and Sati come. This is well before Parvati, okay? This is much before Parvati. They come and they dance the dance and they live in Kailash and they're dancing away, and man is getting arrogant, right? Building yagyas and fires and doing everything, building everything. And Daksha happens to be Sati's father. Right? So Daksha creates a huge yagya, Homa, and he's going to invite all the gods, but he doesn't invite Shiva and Shakti. Scandal. Son-in-law is a swine. Right? He doesn't like his son-in-law. Ash-smitten, dreadlocks, smoking ganja all the time, trying to make love to his wife night and day. He says, what? How can I present him? No? Can you imagine them presenting me? But this is the problem. So Daksha doesn't invite them. So Sati gets very upset. And she goes to Shiva and said, I'm going to go anyway. And Shiva gets angry, says, no, you can't go. And then there's a whole other story I'll tell you another day of the Dash Mahavidya. She becomes Mahakali and scares the shit out of him. And then he says, Baba, you can go, you can do whatever you like. You're equal to me. Please do whatever you like. Yeah, that's a good story also. So see, the difference is that the sons of Brahma want to live in cities, organized order, and the Shiva Shakti path is chaos and nature and living with the rhythms of life, right? Big difference. So they go and they have this huge yagya, and Sati comes. And Shiva, Daksha goes to Sati, you're not welcome. Your husband is a loafer and a lafanga and a drug addict. You can't come in. Like, get out, right? Get out. You know, all he thinks about is sex, and he rides those weird animals and they roam around. You know, not allowed, right? So Sati, because she is Parashakti, she is Adi Shakti, the first mother, right? She lights her Manipura and becomes inflamed and burns everything, right? So there's a great painting. Look at that great painting. Isn't that a great painting? Sati exploding in anger, right? Shiva hears about this at Kailash, and he sends the most ferocious form of Shiva possible, Veerbhadrasan, to destroy everything. Right? Look at that. Right? And he tells Veerbhadrasan a very interesting thing. You know what he tells him? He doesn't say kill everybody, that he expects. He says, destroy all the mantras. Make mankind completely helpless without any vak. Interesting, no? You take away vak and speech, no power. So he comes and ferocious. And he cuts off Daksha's head also. Right? But Shiva is always forgiving. So he comes and he takes a goat's head and puts it on Daksha and says, may you always remember that you are just a goat. But he's destroyed. So he picks up Sati, right? And he flies into the galaxies, and all the worlds start ending. Destruction, right? So Vishnu comes, who is Adi Shakti's brother, and says, takes his Ashtraya, Sudarshan Chakra, swirls it round, and cuts her into 51 pieces. Right? So today, the map of India is a pilgrimage journey of Shakti Pitams, right? Which are probably ancient asteroids and comets that fell on Earth, you know. But it must have been, they think that 1900 BC, massive asteroid shower occurred on India, right? So you can imagine, people thought that the Sati's parts were falling everywhere, right? And that was also the time that Indus Valley disappeared. It was vaporized. And they found ashes that look like meteor and volcanic ash in Mohenjo-daro and other places. So we don't know it. It wasn't like they gave up the city and then moved from Saraswati and Indus to Ganga. That place just got wiped out. Something happened, right? So look at this. Sati does that, but then Sati does another thing. She becomes the letters of the alphabet. Sanskrit, right? So how can you get back to Shiva and Shakti? She leaves a clue. She says, If I put it in the sky, they will learn to fly. They'll come and take it all away and destroy it again. If I learn to in the sea, they'll come and find me there. If I go in space, they'll fly to Mars and find us. They'll find us, those stupid human beings, right? And destroy everything. So she says, I will hide in the one place they will never look. Where? Muladhara. And she coils herself up and she sits at the base of your spine, waiting for you to wake up. And what is the route to waking up? Only one. Mantra. Because she is the Shakti Bija. All the Bijas are her. So by chanting the garland of letters, and Shiva, distraught, depressed, goes to Kailash, and he's sitting there. Where is there? Not in Kailash, in your head. He sits in what is called Brahma's cave, right here. So you want to go from here to here, somehow, and then they will come down. Nice idea, no? This is what Kundalini is. Simply put. There's no other mystery to it. So, awakening Kundalini, you reunite Shiva and Shakti. That's why we do Kundalini awakening. Yes? You see the girls holding that symbol? This represents Linga, Yoni. Every Shivling is a Linga and a Yoni. Linga is the beam of light of consciousness of Shiva coming into you from here. And you at your belly create a Yoni, a base, a fire to receive that.